Not sure how to begin. Where to begin? Obviously, recently, I don't know when this video will go up. Either you just watched the Cowboys play their game today, or you watched them play yesterday. So, with that being said, you know the result. I don't even know if I want to spend too much time on what went wrong. I think everything went wrong. And that kind of leads into what I'm going to say next. Going into this week, especially with Belichick being fired, people were saying, Mike McCarthy loses. Mike McCarthy loses, he's going to get fired. And Jerry loves Bill Belichick and all this stuff. I thought it was dumb. I thought it was laughable. I thought if you really believe that, then you literally have no clue what you're watching. Those takes might be right. I'm not sure that anyone on the team, anyone involved with the team, should be safe. Mike, here's where I stand on Mike. It's not easy to take a team and win 12 games 3 consecutive years in a row. 2 of those years you win your division. I wanted to give him props for that. But when you take those teams and you lose in the wild card to the 7 seed, who before this game, since the NFL added a 7th seed, had never won a game. They just won the first game by 1 billion. You just lost to the 7th seed. First time anyone's ever done that in the NFL. And you lost by 1 billion. At least that's what it felt like. Don't look at that final score. That final score is not real. It's still, Packers still won by 16. They won by way more than that. They won by way more than that. To begin the game, there's offensive miscommunications, mishaps. There's defensive penalties that extend drives, and there's special teams errors. When you're having errors in all 3 phases, that is coaching. That is, players make mistakes, obviously, but as a coach, that's something that I think you should be able to control. What's next? I don't want to go in too much on McCarthy. I mean, there's plenty of blame to go around. We'll go with Dan Quinn next. Quinn, you were a hot commodity. You've been a hot commodity the last few years, few coaching cycles. Even going in this year, I thought, maybe it's still the case, I thought you had the Seahawks job locked up. I'm not sure what you're going to say when they turn on this film and ask you what happened. It's at the beginning of the game, it was like 2 drives in a row at least. Jordan Love had a fantastic game, by the way. Amazing game. He's going to be really good for a long time, and that's very unfortunate. For everyone that's not a Packers fan, there's a few times in the game, Jordan Love's under pressure, and Romeo Doubs is just chilling in the middle of the field, wide open. Why is that? How do we have no one accounting for him? How do we have no one accounting for that zone? If we do they know they were supposed to be in that zone? Is that your fault, Dan Quinn, that you let that happen at least twice? And then you have, towards the end of the game, you have, I think it was Musgrave, or maybe it was Kraft, I don't know, wide open by about, there was no one near him. I mean, not within 30 yards. That's not good. That cannot happen. That cannot happen. Under no circumstance can that happen. Who's next? Unfortunate. This is the most unfortunate thing of them all. Next is Dak. I have been the biggest Dak supporter potentially in the world. I still love him. I think he can be great. I think he can be. I think he is a great person for sure, without a doubt. But at this point, everything's on the table. I mean, you cannot go out there and get embarrassed like just happened. That was getting embarrassed. You got your ass kicked by the 7th seed. It came into your stadium. Congratulations, you haven't lost a home game since week 1 last year. Well, you just did. You just got your ass kicked at home. That was supposed to be your saving grace, was, the Cowboys can't play on the road, so they better get a home game. Well, you guys got a home playoff game, and you still got your ass kicked. I'm not sure what was going on at the beginning of the game. They were talking about it on the broadcast. Some sort of communication going on between Dak and CD and McCarthy and CD. I'm not sure who was in the wrong, who's in the right, what was going on with that situation, but that's for you to figure out from week 1 to week 18. And CD, if I don't know if it was you, but you led the league in receptions. I don't know what you're crying about, Dak. Had an opportunity. You had an opportunity to erase all narratives about you. You had an opportunity to reverse and flip the script, which we had already seen start to happen this season. Dak was getting some MVP hype. Dak was some of the media narratives about Dak were starting to be positive instead of negative all the time, and it really felt like something was changing. It really felt like it, and maybe that's what hurts the most, is that it was deceiving. Just another year of the same thing, man. Just another year of the same thing. Make fun of the Vikings and Cameron all the time for being in purgatory, purgatory. Well, we're in blue purgatory. They love showing that graphic of teams and their conference championship drought. Only 2 teams with longer droughts than you are the Lions and the Commanders in the NFC. So you're going to go out there, you're going to win 12 games every year, you're going to make the playoffs. For what? And I don't know if I went in on Dak hard enough. I know that's probably what people want to hear. And I think it's fine. It's finally time for me to do it. I can't keep defending you as much as I want to. As much as I think you are really good. As much as a lot of teams, and a lot more teams than would actually admit it, would love to have you at quarterback. But eventually you either got to get over the hump, or we just got to accept that you're never going to make it. And we're very close to that point of no return. The talks are that we're looking to give Dak an extension in the offseason. I'm not sure how those conversations with Jerry Jones are going to go after this performance. What are my expectations moving forward? I expect Mike McCarthy to be fired. I expect Dan Quinn to go and find another job. With that, probably, I would imagine Schottenheimer's gone. We can try to get, maybe Al Harris or Joe Witt to be our next defensive coordinator. But who knows? Maybe they follow Dan Quinn. As far as head coach goes, if I was making decisions, it would be Ben Johnson, Bobby Slowick, maybe even Vrabel. Realistically, knowing Jerry, it'll probably be Jim Harbaugh, Belichick, obviously. Something that doesn't really move the needle for me. It's a safe hire. It's expected. It's boring. And I think that maybe that's where we fall short, is we're too scared to commit to trying to win. We're too scared to go all out. We're good with, we'll win 12 games. That's good enough. We'll win 12 games. We'll lose. Oh well. Next year we can win 12 games and lose again. So as long as we can do that every year, perfect. Well, we just can't take the next step. Just too scared. And that was what a lot of the first half of this game, really the whole game, looked like. Just scared. You're at home as a 2 seed, playing the 7 seed, and you're playing scared. They come into your house, and they elect to receive the ball. They said, we want this. We want to take this, and we're going to score on you. We want the ball, and we're going to score. We're going to shove it down your throat, and we're going to take the lead, and we're going to be in charge. And you let it happen. And then what's your response? You're going to do first down, handoff, second down, second and long handoff, third down. Try to have Dak save you. It's not one person's fault. It's a lot of people's fault. It's everyone's fault. Who played well? Jake Ferguson. I think I'm out of names. Michael Gallup, of all people. If your best receiver for most of the game, excluding garbage time, is Michael Gallup, something went wrong. I sent a picture earlier in the group chat. I wore my Dak Prescott jersey for almost every game this season. I'm at the point where it's retired. It's staying in the closet until something actually happens. Until we are in the NFC Championship game, that jersey will not be worn again. Until we're in the NFC Championship game, that jersey will not be worn again. And if someone else gets us there, I don't know who, I don't know when, I'll get their jersey. But until then, I can't keep getting my hopes up. I can't keep doing it. It's tiring and literally zero change. And we get blinded by some sort of narrative that gets started up every year. And it's like, oh, this is different. We have Cooks and Gilmore. So this year there's real change, Don't look at the fact that we didn't do anything in the trade deadline. Or address some glaring needs at major positions like linebacker. We were thin, and we decided to make it even thinner, cutting some of our young players throughout the year. Corner, we lucked out with Bland playing really well for most of the year. It's just, I don't know. Everyone's job should be on the line. And when I say everyone, obviously that's the coaching staff, the quarterback. The GM should be. If he didn't also own the team, he probably would be. But there's a little, when you own the team, you kind of get to keep your job a lot longer than you probably should. But that's the perks of being rich, I guess. So the GM won't be fired. Head coach has got to be gone. Defensive coordinator, gone. Offensive coordinator, gone. Quarterback, you can't really move on, but the extension talks are going to be way less or way shorter. You got to pay CD this year, who just, despite the playoff performance, just led the league in receptions. He's going to want $1 billion a year. Mike is coming up soon. He's going to want $1 billion a year. I don't know where we go forward from here. I'll mention some head coaching changes. Does that make us any different? Does that take us from a 12-win team to a 13-win team? Does that take us to a 10-win team? Does that take us 7, 8, 9-win team? I don't know. Who knows? If I knew, I'd be making a lot more money, and I'd be making those decisions. But as it stands, everyone gets to say they were right. Another year. Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. I think I muted it in time. If I didn't, sorry for your ears. Everyone gets to say they were right about the Cowboys another year. Oh, the Cowboys choked in the playoffs yet again. Dak had a disaster class in the playoffs every year. Every year it's the same. Yeah, you're right. Cowboys had a chance again to prove that narrative wrong, and they couldn't. Now every single sports media show is going to get their salaries paid for the rest of the year until next season, because every day they can put on a show about how the Cowboys choked and how the Cowboys are so bad and so fraudulent and all this and that. And everyone's going to watch it because everyone loves watching the Cowboys lose. And you can't say you don't. You can't say you don't. I know you do. It's factual data. I mean, when you look at just the views that Cowboys related media gets, it's everyone's watching. And there's people like me who are watching because they love the Cowboys. We want to see us win. But 31 other teams and their fan bases are watching because they want to see the Cowboys lose more than they would even want to see their team win. And you got your wish. You got your wish. You got to see the Cowboys get embarrassed. Embarrassed. It was like 41-16 or something. And Matt LaFleur, 4th and 2, I think, from like the 7, maybe even closer, maybe the 5. And they go for it on 4th down and score a touchdown to make it 48-16, I think it was at the time. They did not respect you as an opponent. They did not respect you. They did not respect you. You did not play well enough to even deserve respect from the other team. Normally, I would be a little upset about that. If it was a close game, most of the time they pulled away late. They had another one on to make it look even, less close than it was. Okay. But this was never close. Don't let the final score make you think otherwise. Even the final score wasn't close. But the final score is a lot closer than the actual game was. They did not respect you from the moment they stepped in the building. They came in your building, they took the ball, they scored, and that was it. Game was over. Game was over in that instant. The Cowboys are one of the most emotional teams. You can immediately tell when you're going to lose the game. As a Cowboys fan, you can immediately tell. when you're going to lose the game. When you see Dak having to talk to CD, when you see McCarthy talking to CD, just these weird little things. When you see special teams penalty, you see defensive penalty to extend the drive, they score. Special teams penalty, give the other team good starting field position. It's amazing. It's amazing. You can tell in the first 5 minutes of a Cowboys game if they're going to lose or not. It's amazing. And I'm not. That is something that I don't know how you fix. I don't know how to fix that. Is that a coaching issue? Maybe. Is that the players on the roster? Maybe. Is that a culture thing that's coming from even all the way up to Jerry Jones? I don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure how you fix that. And until something truly changes, until we are in the conference championship game, and I know it is actually crazy to kind of have the bar set that high. It's crazy to expect a team to make Super Bowl or bust every year, conference championship or bust every year. But I talked about the graphic earlier. Almost every team in the NFC has done it since the last time you went. Almost every team. There's 2 teams that haven't, and the Lions might, they might do it now. We'll see here in a few minutes. See if they can get past the first round in Stafford and exercise their demons. I don't know. If any other Cowboys fans are watching, I'm not sure where we go from here. I'm not sure what we do from here. As much as I hate it, I'll still be a Cowboys fan. Moving forward, it just makes it a lot harder. I'm not sure I'll spend as much breath defending at least Dak and the coaching staff as I have in the past. Defending Jerry Jones, which is surprising that I've even done that. And let me just talk kind of what I said a little bit ago about the Lions having to exercise their demons against Stafford, kind of a big pivotal moment against, something larger than just football, and that's kind of where this Packers game was. As soon as we matched up with the Packers, at least half the fan base was convinced that we were losing immediately, and they ended up being right. And it's just it kind of ties into that thing I was talking about earlier, where you can tell when things are off, the vibes are off. If you getting matched up against the Packers was enough to throw the vibes off so much that you just couldn't do anything, you were scared, how are you supposed to compete in the NFL? If you were scared of the Packers, if you were scared of the 49ers, those 2 teams in your conference own you. They send you home year after year. Year after year after year after year. Packers send you home with Aaron Rodgers. They let Aaron Rodgers go to the Jets. They trade Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. They bring in a new guy. The youngest team in the playoffs, I think maybe even in playoff history, as a 7 seed. And you're playing scared because they beat you. They had beat us 9 times out of the last 10. Now they beat us 10 times out of the last 11, I think. They're undefeated in AT&T in the playoffs, I believe. At least in the last 5 times they've been there. 6 times now, I think. Same with the Niners. Screw all that stuff back in the past. It was back and forth then. The last 2 years, they sent you home. And if the idea of playing a certain team is too much for you to bear, that you cannot remember how to play football, I don't know how you overcome that. I just don't. I'm I'm not sure how we move forward. I feel like I'm kind of rambling right now. I don't even know that I really expressed my full feelings and disappointment in this video. I'm sure there will be plenty of more talks to come in the future. But as of right now, I don't. Can I even wear this anymore? I'm not sure that I will. Like I said, jersey, it's retired. It's going to be hard to buy in. It's going to be hard to buy in next year. I'm sure I will. I love football too much for as excruciatingly painful as it is every year. I will still watch and probably put too much emotion into the game. That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. So, in 365 days, I might be here doing the same video. Maybe 372 if we make it to the divisional round and then lose. Probably the way things have played out the last entirety of my life, that'll be the case. So, as you might be able to tell, I am signing off with great disappointment. One more thing to say. The NFL season ends in disappointment and heartbreak for 31 teams every year. That's just the way it goes. You're playing the season because you want to win the Super Bowl. You know, the division title is nice. Conference championship obviously is something to be proud of. But the goal is to win the Super Bowl. And so it's disappointment for every team, 31 teams every year. But this, in the wild card to the 7th seed, who had never won a playoff game in history since the 7th seed has been added. And you come out and shit the bed in your own stadium in front of your fans. That is real disappointment. You win 12 games. You tell your fans, you're telling everyone in the league, this is different. I know what we've done in the past. I know what we've done last year, the year before that, the year before that, the year before that. All that's in the past. This team is different. This team was different. Instead of losing in the divisional round, they lost in the wild card. That was the difference. We couldn't even make it to the divisional round. This was supposed to be the easiest path to the conference championship that the Cowboys have had since the 90s. In a long time. And you can't even get past the 7th seed. You couldn't even make it a close game. You couldn't even compete against the 7th seed with a quarterback in his first full year starting. With a team, like I said before, one of the youngest teams, if not the youngest team in playoff history. And you couldn't even compete. That is disappointing. That's more than disappointing. That is franchise-altering levels of disappointment. That is jobs, from coaches, from the head coach down to special teams players. People will lose their job because of this disappointment. And I'm not sure how quickly we can recover. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if next year we're right back in the same position. You know, the NFC East curse is still holding true, so next year we're not going to win the division. So are we going to do a thing like last year where we don't win the division but we still make playoffs, or are we not even going to be able to rebound that well after whatever's about to happen to the coaching staff and players? Who knows? But this was about as embarrassing and disappointing as you can get. and for the millionth time, I'm not sure where we go from here. Keep watching Party Chat Sports. This will go up. I'll try to get this out Sunday night as it stands, if not Monday morning. Be sure to tune in for more content. I'll be a little bit more uplifting when I'm talking about the rest of the NFL, because the rest of the NFL is still extremely interesting. Go Texans! That'll be my new team for the rest of the playoffs, and the Lions. Although if the Lions make it far, hearing that from friends and family is going to be miserable. But oh well, that's the way it goes. So be sure to tune in for a recap of the playoffs. We'll definitely have tons of off-season content. Draft season just started for the Cowboys, so be on the lookout for that first mock draft, either hitting a podcast or X. So don't be scared of my soft and bitter demeanor in this episode. If you guys are listening and are true fans, I'm sure you've gone through plenty of times just like what I'm going through now. So until next time, see you then. Peace.